And so I want to talk about how to pick the right mentor today. Something I hate, I get a lot of questions because, like in any industry, in any topic you want to learn, there's going to be good mentors and bad mentors. There's going to be mentors that give you result and mentors that don't give you any result. So we want to focus on the ones that give you result. And I think some of the ways and some of the things people talk about when picking a mentor is kind of a little bit wrong. And I went on a different way myself when I was looking for mentors. So I kind of want to share that, plus give you some tactics or some things to consider. So I see we have Scott online. Good, wonderful. Sounds good. Yeah, Scott. So if you guys are joining me live, comment in the chat, and that's better like that. So comment in the chat, let me know where you're from. And if you have any question about the issue and the topic today, just comment as well, and we'll make sure to give you some answers to your question for sure. Right. So you hear a lot of times, and you've heard on the podcast multiple times, to find a mentor. That's something people talk about all the time. I think it's very important. It's something you cannot like go and pass by. It's really, really crucial. And the thing about the mentor is that you get to learn much faster at a much faster rate. And you get to see and get the tactics and the experience from someone else, which is really useful. A lot of people are going to say, well, James, welcome. So a lot of people are going to say, well, find a mentor that has like a big track record, or find someone that has like all these things and verify and stuff. But it's really important. And so I want to go back a little bit and tell you guys how I found my mentors and the people I learned from. So a lot of my mentors come from the podcast, people I learned through interviews I did with them, but I also paid for mentors in the past. And the first mentor I hired for trading was a guy who was trading in a big institution here in Montreal. He's been working in a bank. Was it Scotia? No, not Scotiabank. It's called here Banque Nationale. So basically the national bank, but pretty good job, pretty good trader. But I never got to see his track record. I never got to see any proof he was trading. But what's really important here is that I was able to trust him. And that's much more important, the fact that you trust or not the person, as opposed to the track record that person has. Because that person could be the best trader ever, but the worst mentor ever. And you want to be very careful with that. I've seen multiple people, and I might have got some of them on the podcast too, that are really good to trade. But when it comes to explaining the thing they do and what they look for and how the process work, they're like terrible. They're like really, really bad. So you want to pick people that you trust based on what you see, like based on how you see them. You see them as good teachers. And we've had some example of people here on the channel who were like really, really good at teaching. I won't say any name, but there's some people that are really, really great teachers. And I would trust people to learn, even if they're not great traders, even if because they teach really well. And for me, that's much more powerful, right? So the idea of finding someone with like stats and the whole background and everything, it doesn't really matter. What's more important is like how you connect with that person. And that's something that I will always put as number one. Now, number two is going to be also similar. So a lot of people say, well, find a reputable mentor. So like pick the best person in trading or whatever. And for me, I would say like there's so many different fields in trading. And that's really important for you to define where exactly you want to go. Like, do you want to trade and travel? Do you want to trade professionally? Do you want to trade with your full-time job? Do you want to keep this as a side income, like as a thing you do on the side with your job? Really important, because your coach also, or your mentor, is gonna have to be in the same field or same like subfield you want to be in. So that's really important. If I were, let's say, to pick a mentor that is trading professionally, like someone working in a bank, for example, which I did in the beginning, but I changed after that. But if I were to pick someone like that, I would be learning all these things that people do in an institution, like all these day trading strategies, these things that don't really make sense to me. And I would not be at the right place, because I would be learning from the wrong person. Even if that guy is really, really good, even if like that is the top professional trader, I will still be in the wrong place. I will still be wondering, why do I learn like all this stuff? Why do I learn about like fundamentals and day trading when I don't want to day trade? I want to like swing trade and travel, right? So we don't want to pick the right industry and the right subfield also. So if you guys have any question about that topic, comment in the chat. As I said, to me, like overrated, the idea to find a mentor that has a track record and all these things on the side. You have to trust them. You have to know that they're at the right subfield for you. And I think that's for me much more important. So I'm curious if you guys had a mentor before. Come in the chat, and if not, it's fine. You can find people, and you can find mentors for free. Although the result you're gonna get will vary for sure. But just let me know what your experiences are with mentors, and we'll see if we can interact with that. So I know, Scott, you're part of the academy, which is really good. That's a good start. Unlike what most people say, you don't need to have like a one-to-one mentor. I think that's good. You get better results when you have a one-to-one kind of mentor relationship, but you can still get a lot of result by taking a course or like being in a group in a community of traders. I think that's still fine. It still brings a lot of value. But yeah, do let me know if you have any experience with that. And I see we have a small delay in the video, but yeah. So to give you guys some more background of my experience with mentors, I had this first mentor that I got from an institution, like a guy working in a bank. I got some really good results because and the fact is, I think if I were learning from someone just working in a bank, I would not have gotten the same result. But being like starting to work with someone who's working in a bank, but who's also focused on teaching now, that makes it easier, right? That makes it the person is much more open and understands how people learn, and that's a big fact. So if you are to pick like the best traders and learn from that person, it's gonna be tough, right? It's gonna be really tough. And good question, Marcel. How did I get to know that person, that first mentor I got? Well, I talked a couple of times about the Montreal Traders Meetup. It's a meetup we do every month in Montreal. Marcel, I'm not sure if you're in Montreal or around, but it's possible. So I got to that meetup once. I met that guy who got there at the same time. Like I don't think that was his first time, but just meeting traders, and I was able to talk with that guy. And it didn't happen like the same night. Like he wasn't there to like sell anything, and that's the beauty of it. So like if you meet someone who's Belgium, okay. So if you meet someone at a meetup or whatever, like an evening, and they start to sell you, like pitch you the course or pitch you a coaching program, well, big problem here. But if you meet someone who like just tries to help you and just try to see where you are and all these things, well, then you have a much better chance to keep a relationship with that person. So I went to the meetup. I met like maybe 20 traders, and this was one of them who was starting to teach people to do coaching, and now it's not doing coaching. It's not doing coaching anymore. It's doing something different. But I just met that guy, started to learn, started to talk with him. We had multiple like calls after that, and maybe like 2-3 months later, I signed up for a coaching program with him, like a coach, like I think a 12-week coaching or 15-week. So that was like 2-3 months later, and that's how I met my mentor. Yeah. James, I found a school at first, then signed up to a couple of training rooms, and that improved my trading. Nice. That's really good. And that's why I say like you don't have to pick a mentor that's one-to-one. Although that can be good. That's how I got most of my results, being one-to-one with someone or like small group to one. But yeah, if you get some value from trading rooms, that's great. I don't see like any problem with that, as long as I have someone to learn from, and that person could be someone you learn from for free, or you pay. Like doesn't matter. There's plenty of people who can teach you for free. If you add value to them and if you help them enough, they're gonna help you out. So yeah, that's totally fine. And yeah, trading rooms, schools, yeah. Although you want you want to be careful, and I've seen this, like people think that taking a course, well, not a course, I should say, like a university course or a class in university about trading or about technical assets, that they're gonna become great traders. And in my experience, totally wrong, because they teach you like all the theory, all these things that you could apply potentially, but they don't teach you how to do it. And people in university never traded in their whole life. So you just want to be careful with that. But yeah, if you pick like a course from the right person who know how to apply it, right? That works. But if you pick a course from like a textbook style course, it's gonna be worthless. So unfortunately, yeah. But yeah. So I hope that answered the question, guys. I wanted to do just a quick live today. I know it's been short, but I did have some things to cover, and I really want to respect the schedule I put for myself for the video. And actually, I want to talk about maybe sticking to your trading plan today. It's going to be another day, but that's the principle. When you start to do things like no matter what, things that you schedule, things that you plan, when you start to do those all the time, even if you don't feel like it, well, you get to a point where you start to do what you don't feel like. And that's powerful with trading because you can put this the same in trading. The same, like all these things you do in your life, you do the same thing in trading. And that ends up being like sticking to your trading plan. You might not feel like it, but you do it because it's part of it. And that makes it a good habit. So I want to respect this video schedule I put for myself. And if you guys have any questions, just comment below. If you're watching the replay, thank you. And we'll catch you guys pretty soon for another video. Ciao. Enjoy the day. Oh, and Happy New Year.